I'm Dr. Anil Satyadas, anesthesiologist and intensivist. So today we are going to discuss the rational use of oxygen in the during the COVID pandemic. So first of all, oxygen is a drug. So being a drug, it should have its own prescription. Prescription, the dosage, like how much liter per minute, especially with a target endpoint. So that is usually said as either in terms of partial pressure of oxygen in the ABG or in terms of SpO2. So you have to write what is your target SpO2 for this patient. So when to escalate is again another thing that should be writing with the prescription. So when to escalate, that means when to increase the flows, also when to switch on to other devices. That is also very important. It's not just increasing the flows alone when patient desaturates. Okay. So coming to the 2 points regarding the physics. Remember, we have to always think about meeting the peak inspiratory flow rate of the patient. So what is this peak inspiratory flow rate? So if I need 500 ml tidal volume in 2 seconds, if my time for inspiration is 2 seconds, the flow rate would be 250 ml per second, okay, 500 by 2, or it will correspond to 15 liters per minute, okay. Assuming constant, so I take the inspiration at a constant flow rate. It might not be always like that. So patient might take in deep breath where the peak flow would be very high when he starts his inspiration and might decrease during the end of inspiration. It is difficult to always calculate the peak inspiratory flow rate for a particular patient. But remember, if you don't meet the peak inspiratory flow rate, one, there will be air hunger. Second, if you have ports to entrain air from the atmosphere, the patient will entrain additional air and dilute what you are giving. Okay, if the patient needs around 300 ml for say in 0.5 seconds, because when the patient becomes tachypneic, you might have a low tidal volume as well as time for inspiration would be less. So 300 divided by 0.5 would be around reaching around 36 liters per minute. So if you want to give 100% oxygen for this patient, okay, you should be giving 36 liters per minute of 100% oxygen. Okay, and remember that 36 liter per minute, he would use that only 0.5 seconds of one respiratory cycle. Okay, during the exhalation and the expiratory process, this 36 liter per minute would be going to the atmosphere or to some reservoir bag or sort of thing if there is some. Second point in physics is that we have both continuous flow devices and intermittent flow devices. As you know, simple face mask, your nasal cannula, Venturi mask, all these are continuous flow because the flows are continuous. We don't go and switch off when the patient switches to exhalation. Okay. So, and also we have intermittent devices, especially your ventilators when you have non-invasive ventilation and invasive ventilation. So remember that also. Coming to the second major heading, the oxygen delivery devices are classified into variable performance and fixed performance based on the principle whether it provides the peak inspiratory flow rate for the patient. Our simple face mask, nasal cannula, all these things are variable performance because if the patient's rate increases, the TI decreases, he would entrain, he needs more flow, so that is not being given. So we give a minimum of 5 liters per minute in the simple face mask, so he will entrain whatever extra he needs above that 5 liters from the atmosphere, and depending on many factors, the FiO2, the final FiO2 patient gets, FiO2 is the fraction of oxygen inspired air, patient gets would vary, so it's called variable performance. Whereas fixed performance devices like a Venturi mask would have entrainment ports, and that is also fixed. So you have say 15 liters coming from your oxygen flow meter, say another 30 liter coming from the entrainment port, it is fixed. So total of 45 liter per minute of a gas that contains a fixed FiO2. Most of these devices have high flows and they have a air entrainment device. Okay, so these are called fixed performance devices. And coming to the clinical aspect, so how do we already said that you have to write a prescription. Above that, see, we have different guidelines. Even national guidelines have two goals to reach SpO2. Rational use of oxygen from the national guideline has one goal, and the COVID protocol has another goal. WHO has one goal. So we'll make it very simple. You have two categories of patients. One, a patient with distress. Okay, the target is, it should be around 94%. Safe when you reach 94%. Not more, not less. Okay, patient in distress. Second category of patient who is not in distress. He might have a high respiratory, but he's comfortable. Okay, so he would need a SpO2 goal of only 90%. So remember two group of category of patients. One, a patient who has respiratory distress, where target 24. Second group, 90%, who are, they might be tachypneic, but they don't have much of distress. Okay, so that would be 90%. So which all device would you use for such patients? When the patient is having distress, you should try to give, try to match his requirement. So you'd have to use devices that have both high FiO2 as well as it might also need devices which have high flow rates. So you would preferably start to use HFNC is one device, but remember that is a last choice for patients who have distress because of the high oxygen consumption in HFNC. So other options we can directly go for NIV or intubation and ventilating the patient. So targets 94, NIV, intubation, HFNC, the last during the crisis when you have less of oxygen. So let's see what all devices we would use for patients who have settled down, they don't have much distress. We can use nasal cannula, simple face mask, or rebreathing mask. Rebreathing mask can also be used patient distress, but remember that cannot provide very high FiO2s if your flow rates are not very high. So what is the main difference between these two devices? As you know, when you go for non-invasive ventilation, there is some positive pressures that are given to the patient's airway. Remember one thing, you can increase the oxygenation in a patient, that especially the PaO2, by two methods only. Only two methods, only on factors on which your oxygenation depends. One is the FiO2. So you can go on increasing FiO2. Second is your mean airway pressure. So by switching over to non-invasive and invasive mechanical ventilation, we are actually increasing the mean airway pressure of the patient, thereby improving oxygenation. So these 2 points should be remembered, and always remember, you can prone any patient who is hospitalized, any patient who is requiring oxygen, or even at home you can have the awake prawn protocol in COVID. Okay. Then we come to technical problems or technical aspects. So number one, major one is your leaks. So any hissing sound anywhere, you should troubleshoot. Maybe it will be the suction is on, but still see what is happening. Where are the gases going out from? Okay. Surveillance. So you can have a team or sisters who would go in and around the ICUs or even outside where there are pipelines and see if there is any hissing sound or leak somewhere. Okay, and rectify at the earliest. Second is that at this scenario where likely that your central supply might go down, you have to have some backup near your ICU or your ward, like with bulk cylinders, and have conversion kits. Okay, conversion kits through which you can connect that oxygen in the bulk cylinder to your pipeline in the ICU, and that you usually have the unidirectional valve outside the ICU, so it will not go outside from your ICU. You can have your oxygen in your ICU with the backup bulk cylinder. Last is administrative, maybe not under our control. So you should have an idea about a daily use of oxygen. So you can have your tank, monitor the tank pressure, or you can monitor the refill volume that is needed. And remember, when the patient is on a ventilator, so you have your approximate amount of oxygen that is consumed. When you give 100% oxygen is equal to a minute ventilation of the patient plus any wastage. Okay, if the patient is 80%, it is minute ventilation plus wastage divided by 2. Okay, if the patient is in 60% oxygen, minute ventilation plus wastage divided by 4. So as this formula will tell you, the wastage will occur when you have non-invasive ventilation. Okay, non-invasive ventilation, make sure the mask is tight fitting. Okay, not maybe too tight, but to allow least leakage, you should have a tight fitting mask. Last point that I would like to say is the storage. The capacity of your oxygen storage should be increased as you increase the number of patients during the COVID, and there should be an audit. Okay, and a minimal requirement that will depend on your daily usage, your storage capacity, and also how frequently you will get your either the liquid oxygen, how frequently you get the tankers that carry liquid oxygen, and the usage. And an audit should always be there to detect hikes in oxygen which might be due to leaks. So if you have a 1000 kiloliter per day usage, and then suddenly goes to 1500 without any increase in number of patients, you think of some major leaks somewhere. So hope you understood the rational use of oxygen during the COVID epidemic. Stay safe. Thank you.